One punch. That's all it took for Derek's life to spiral into chaos. The system came for him hard, but they forgot one thing. Derek doesn't break. This fight's far from over. Derek Carter, better known as Wild D in the underground wrestling scene, was living his best life. At 24, he was the hometown hero with a flair for drama and a reputation for throwing punches both on and off the ring. His fans ate it up, but there was one small problem. Derek's temper was a ticking time bomb, and tonight, that fuse got lit. The night started off simple enough. After a killer match, Derek rolled into a Vegas bar with a posse of rowdy fans hyped beyond belief. The crowd surrounded him like paparazzi around a rock star. Everyone wanted a selfie with the Wild One. "Yo, did you see that knockout? One punch, bam! Dude was out like a light," Derek bragged loudly, tossing back his drink like a champion. "They ought to call me the legend after tonight." His friends whooped in agreement, one of them clapping him on the back. The bar was buzzing, and Derek basked in the glory, flashing his signature cocky grin. Life was good, for now, but every good party has that one buzzkill, right? About half an hour in, the atmosphere shifted. The sound of heavy boots hitting the floor echoed through the bar. Derek turned his head just in time to see him, James Larkin, tall, built like a linebacker, and dressed in a sharp security uniform with a silver badge glinting on his chest. The guy had that vibe, like he thought he owned the place. Larkin's eyes scanned the bar, cold and calculating, before locking onto Derek like a sniper targeting his prey. The tension hit like a slap to the face. "Look at this circus," Larkin muttered, just loud enough to be heard. He smirked, giving Derek a once-over. "You're pretty loud for someone who's in fake fights. Didn't your little wrestling coach teach you to keep it down, clown?" Clown? The word hung in the air like a death sentence. The entire bar went silent. You could hear the ice clinking in glasses. Derek froze, his jaw tightening. A few people near the back whispered nervously. "Yo, that's Larkin," someone mumbled. "Governor's guard. Man's got connections. Derek, better chill." But Derek wasn't about to chill. Oh no, Derek didn't do chill. He stepped forward slowly, the smirk creeping back onto his face. His voice was low and dangerous. "Clown? Oh, so that's how you want to play it? You sure you want this clown to show you a trick or two right now?" The crowd held its breath. Larkin didn't flinch. His face stayed as hard as concrete. "Listen, tough guy," he said coolly. "I'm giving you a freebie here. Walk away. You don't want to make this your worst night ever." That was it. The lightning strike. Derek snapped. His fist flew before anyone could blink, connecting with Larkin's face in a bone-crunching punch that echoed through the room. Larkin hit the floor like a sack of bricks, blood gushing from his nose. Gasps filled the room. "Holy, he just knocked out Larkin," someone yelled. But Derek wasn't done. Adrenaline surged through his veins as he stood over the crumpled guard, breathing heavily like he was still on the ring. For a moment, he thought he'd won the match. Then all hell broke loose. Two security guards charged him from across the bar. Derek, running on pure instinct, shoved them both aside like they were training dummies. Tables flipped, glasses shattered, people screamed and scrambled for cover. It was chaos. Total, beautiful chaos. And Derek, he was right in the middle of it, eyes blazing with that wild, untamed energy his fans loved so much. But Derek didn't realize one critical thing. This wasn't a wrestling ring. There were no scripted endings here. The sirens hit fast and loud, flashing red and blue lights flooding the bar's windows. Within minutes, the Vegas police stormed in. Derek barely had time to catch his breath before they had him slammed up against a wall, yanking his arms behind his back. "Hey, what the hell? He started it," Derek shouted, twisting in the cuffs. "He provoked me, all right? Yo." "Yeah, sure," one of the cops muttered, clearly unimpressed. "Tell it to the judge, champ." As they dragged him out of the bar, Derek caught a glimpse of Larkin being helped to his feet. The guard's face was a bloody mess, but the hatred in his eyes burned hotter than any injury. Derek knew this wasn't over, not by a long shot. Out on the street, a crowd had gathered. Cameras flashed as reporters shouted questions. "Derek, why'd you hit him? Is it true you assaulted a government official? Do you regret what happened tonight?" Derek kept his mouth shut, but his mind was racing. He wasn't just in trouble. He was in deep, neck-high, life-ruining trouble. Because James Larkin wasn't just some random dude. He was a royal guard, as people joked, a high-ranking member of the governor's security team. And Derek had just punched his ticket to 10 years in prison if things didn't go his way. For the first time in a long time, Derek felt the weight of something he couldn't punch his way out of. Less than an hour after the brawl, Derek's name was trending like wildfire. Wild D just decked the governor's guard. Headlines exploded across every social media feed. Someone at the bar had captured the punch on their phone. Perfect timing, crystal clear shot. Within minutes, the video had thousands of views. And the comments? They were split right down the middle. He deserved it. Dude was asking for it. You can't just punch a government guard, man. What was he thinking? Meanwhile, Derek sat in an interrogation room, wrists aching from the cuffs. His jaw clenched so hard it could snap. Across the table was Detective Martinez, lean, grumpy, with the kind of smirk that said he'd seen every excuse in the book and was already bored. "All right, champ," Martinez said, flipping open a file. His voice dripped with sarcasm. "Let's hear it. What's the story? Try not to let that ego of yours get in the way." Derek's fists tightened. He leaned forward, his voice sharp. "That guy provoked me. He called me names, insulted me, and now I'm the bad guy? Are you serious?" Martinez chuckled dryly, rubbing his face like he was dealing with a toddler. "Oh no, he insulted you? What's next? You gonna tell me your feelings were hurt? Man, who told you life's fair? 'Cause spoiler alert, it ain't." "Are you kidding me?" Derek snapped, anger bubbling to the surface. "He wanted a fight. He got a fight." Martinez shook his head slowly, his smirk growing colder. "Listen, Carter, you don't get it, do you? This isn't just some random bar fight. You hit Larkin. That's not just a guy. He's the governor's golden boy. They're going to come down on you with everything they've got. Prosecutor's going to have a field day with this one." Derek felt his stomach twist. He wasn't stupid. He knew the game. This wasn't just about a punch anymore. It was about politics, power moves disguised as justice. Martinez stood up, walking around the room like a predator, circling prey. "You're in deep, man. Real deep. Assaulting a government officer? That's serious time, and you think they're going to go easy on a hothead wrestler who plays tough guy for a living? Nah, you're their new favorite punching bag now." By the time Derek was thrown into a holding cell, the reality had hit him hard. The walls seemed to close in around him. His mind raced. He needed help, fast. And that help came in the form of an old friend. 2 hours later, Mike Parker showed up. Derek had known Mike for years. A lawyer with a passion for sticking it to the system. They'd been through some wild times together, but this might be their toughest fight yet. Mike sat across from Derek, sighing like a tired parent. "Derek, what the hell, man?" Mike shook his head. "I leave you alone for one weekend, and you end up fighting the James Larkin? Are you out of your mind?" "He started it," Derek shot back, his eyes filled with desperation. "The guy walked in like he owned the place and disrespected me in front of everyone. What was I supposed to do, let him walk all over me?" Mike leaned back, crossing his arms. "Look, I get it, but right now, nobody cares who started what. All they see is you punching a state official. And trust me, these guys love turning situations like this into a spectacle. They're going to make you the poster boy for bad decisions. You're about to become public enemy number 1. Derek let out a bitter laugh. "Great. So it's just like wrestling. Another show, another villain. And this time, I'm the bad guy, huh?" Mike leaned in, lowering his voice. "Exactly. And this show's being run by people who play dirty. I'll do everything I can to get you out, but you've got to be ready. Worst case scenario, we're looking at serious time." Derek felt his pulse quicken. He wasn't ready for this, not by a long shot. The next day, he was dragged into court for a preliminary hearing. Cameras flashed in his face as reporters shouted questions. Inside the courtroom, Derek spotted Larkin sitting in the front row. The man's face was bruised and bandaged, but his eyes were like ice. He stared at Derek with a silent, burning rage. The judge entered and wasted no time. He read the charges like Derek was some kind of hardened criminal. Mr. Carter, you are charged with assaulting a government officer. causing bodily harm. Due to the severity of this case, the prosecution requests that bail be denied. Mike stood, his expression firm. Your Honor, we object. My client has no criminal record. This was a heat-of-the-moment incident, not a premeditated act. But the judge cut him off with a wave of his hand. Mr. Parker, this isn't up for debate. Given the nature of the case, Mr. Carter will remain in custody until the trial. Court is adjourned. Derek's world shattered. He barely heard the gavel slam. Everything blurred. He wanted to scream to tell the whole room how wrong they were, but he knew it wouldn't matter. They weren't here for the truth. They were here to crush him. As he was led back to his cell, Mike walked beside him for a moment, whispering urgently, Don't give up, Derek. This fight's not over. We'll find a way. But it's going to be a war. Derek nodded, his jaw tightening. He had no choice now. The system had drawn first blood, but he wasn't about to back down, not without a fight. The situation was spinning out of control. Social media was a battleground. On one side, Derek had diehard supporters. Man was standing his ground. You can't just walk in and disrespect Wild D like that. Larkin got what was coming to him. Ain't no sympathy for bullies. But the other side wasn't holding back either. You can't go around punching government officials. He's a danger to society. This guy thinks he's still in the ring. Someone needs to put him in his place. Memes, TikToks, and endless tweets flooded every platform. The bar footage became a viral sensation. Meanwhile, Larkin played the part of the wounded warrior perfectly. The media painted him as a tragic figure, a loyal guard viciously attacked by a reckless brawler. Derek knew one thing. The louder the noise got, the harder it would be to escape the storm. Then Mike dropped a game-changing bombshell. I dug up some dirt on Larkin, he said, his voice low but charged. Turns out, our boy isn't as squeaky clean as he wants people to think. He's got a history, abuse of power, intimidation tactics. They've been covering for him for years, but we've got enough breadcrumbs to follow. Derek shot to his feet, eyes blazing. You serious? What are we waiting for? Let's blow this guy up, expose him for the fraud he is. Mike raised a hand, signaling him to chill. Whoa, easy there, champ. This isn't a wrestling promo. We gotta play this smart. If we dump everything now, they'll find a way to bury it. We need a strategy. First, we bring in the media and public opinion. But before that, we need more evidence. Stuff they can't dismiss. From his holding cell, Derek got to work. Using his network of followers and contacts, he reached out to activists and independent journalists. The story started shifting. People began asking questions. Wait, if Larkin's the victim, why does he have so many complaints on his record? This dude's got skeletons, and I want to see them all. Journalists dug deeper, unearthing reports of Larkin roughing up detainees and suppressing complaints. Each new revelation chipped away at his reputation. News outlets picked up the narrative, turning the tables on the so-called hero. Larkin's allies scrambled. He was losing the PR war, and fast. Higher-ups leaned on him hard. Fix this, they ordered, or we'll find someone who can... Desperation led to underhanded tactics. One night, Mike's home windows were shattered, and an anonymous note was left. Back off while you can. Mike? He just laughed. Do they really think this is going to scare me, amateurs? Meanwhile, the pressure on the court system mounted. Thousands of people rallied behind Derek. The hashtag #JusticeForDerek took over the internet. Every day, more voices demanded transparency and fairness. Finally, the moment came. At the next hearing, Mike unveiled the evidence, a series of shocking video clips showing Larkin's past misconduct. The courtroom fell into stunned silence. Even the prosecutor faltered, visibly shaken by the footage. The judge, who had seemed stone cold before, leaned forward, eyes narrowing in concentration. By the time Mike finished his argument, the momentum had shifted entirely. Larkin's credibility was in tatters. The judge spoke with deliberate authority. In light of new evidence and confirmed reports of Mr. Larkin's prior abuses, the charges against Derek Carter are hereby dismissed. For a split second, Derek didn't move. He couldn't process the words. The courtroom exploded in applause and cheers. Derek felt Mike's hand on his shoulder. You did it, man. We did it. As he walked out of the courthouse, Derek was met with a crowd of supporters chanting his name. Phones captured every moment as he raised his hands in silent triumph. He'd fought the system and survived, but it had cost him dearly. A month later, Larkin was stripped of his position and faced legal action for his previous offenses. His fall from grace was swift and brutal. Derek, meanwhile, found himself at a crossroads. He couldn't go back to being just a wrestler. He had a platform now, a voice that people listened to, and he wasn't about to waste it. Partnering with activist groups, Derek began speaking out against injustice. He used his story to empower others who were trapped in the same system that had tried to break him. This wasn't just the end of Wild D's story. It was the beginning of a new chapter, one where the fight was real and the stakes were higher than ever. His enemy now wasn't a scripted opponent. It was a system designed to keep people like him down. But Derek wasn't backing down, not this time. The Wild One had found his cause. How would you have handled it if you were in Derek's shoes? Do you think he made the right call? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Have you or someone you know ever faced a similar situation? Let us know. Your stories matter. Don't forget to hit that like button if this story resonated with you and share it to spread awareness. This story was created with a purpose, to shed light on social injustice and inspire positive change. Together, we can make the world a better place.